Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network.
Hey everybody, this is Alex Bennett, host of the Ramble, heard here and seen here on GabNet, Tuesday through Fridays, live at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, and I got some big news for you. Our program has moved its live video from Facebook Live to YouTube Live. After extensive tests in our GabNet laboratories of at least 10 minutes, our mind was made up and we've come to the conclusion that YouTube is superior not only in video quality, but audio as well. And then there's the ease of watching it. Here's what you do. Simply point your browser to youtube.com/Bolo Bennett /live. That's youtube.com/Bolo Bennett, BOLOBENNETT /live. And you're there. The player is waiting, and you do nothing, and when the show begins, so does the player. Couldn't be simpler. In fact, tag that page as a permanent tab on your browser, and you're ready to go. And if all of this is too vexing for you, well, just go to gabnet.net near showtime, and the player in the middle of the page will start to play when we're on. We're thrilled with the new quality our move has provided, and while you're there, would you do me a favor and please subscribe to our channel? No, I beg you to. Hey, listen to me, I'm groveling, okay? I know, it's pathetic. I'm sorry, I'm debasing myself, and I really shouldn't be. Please.
Evolution is defined as any process of formation or growth, development, the evolution of a radio program right before your ears. Welcome into The Exchange. It's Rob Alfano, and it's a Wednesday night, a special night, and we'll talk about that in just a few moments. You're going to give us a call on Skype in a little while.
I'm Jim Browning. You're listening to The Exchange. Well, our long national nightmare just may be over. It seems that we are ready to say goodbye to reality television.
Good evening and hello, everybody. Welcome to The Exchange, your safe haven for the free and open exchange of ideas and opinions here on the Great American Broadcast Network every Monday through Friday from 9:30 to 10 Eastern, 6:30 to 7 Western. I'm your host and broker, Damian Chaplin. If you'd like to join the conversation tonight, go ahead and give us a call on Skype. I'm opening the lines right now.
The Exchange, one program, ever evolving. Be a part of evolution. Tuesday through Friday at 9:30 p.m., Damian Chaplin moves you in new directions. Call GabNet Live on Skype at 347-352-0079. The Exchange, the evolution. Tuesday through Friday at 9:30 Eastern, only on GabNet. Reasons why you tune into GabNet. Reason number 29, the Citizen Panel.
I'm saying that he could actually, a good lawyer might be able to make a case that he cannot get a fair trial anywhere in the United States because the President of the United States said, quote, he should be executed. And if you can't find a fair jury anywhere in this country because they've all been exposed to this.
No, he'll never go to trial if he's treated as an enemy combatant.
He's not being treated as an enemy combatant, Phil.
He's basically a citizen. He has a green card. He has all the rights that a citizen of the United States has because he has a green card. Either you want to follow the Constitution of the United States or not. Go to Russia if you don't want to follow the rules.
He said that he did this for ISIS. He had a note in his thing. He had a phone call on his cell phone, and he says that he did it for ISIS. Therefore,
okay, so Phil, if you did that, you should be able to be treated as enemy combatant.
I think so.
GabNet. Reasons to listen every day. Log on to gabnet.net for more. GabNet. It's talk like you've never heard it before.
Hi, everybody. This is Alex Bennett, and I've had a long and interesting trip. It's called life. And for years, people have demanded that I write a book about it, and while I've been a writer, my main talent has always been that of a broadcaster. Over a year ago, I decided not to write the book, but using my best skill, I decided to tell it. It's called Life in the Passing Lane, and I described it as an audio biography. It's presented in 30-minute chapters, so it's easy to binge listen. And you can access it on the Gabnet page by clicking on Life in the Passing Lane and going to a page with every single episode, plus some extras. If you want to access it on your mobile device, that's easy too. It's on iTunes. It's Life in the Passing Lane, an audio biography by me. I'm Alex Bennett.
Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before. This is Gabnet, the Great American Broadcast Network.
Hey! Hey everybody, how are you? I'm Alex Bennett, and yes, it's me, and this is the Ramble. And we go on from now until midnight Eastern Time, and if you're anywhere else in the world, well, that's too bad. Well, you can, if you're in China, it's, what time is it in China right now? It's 6 minutes past 10 o'clock in China in the morning. Okay, so I know that much. So if you're listening to us now in China at that time, we're live. Otherwise, this is a recording, and you can hear our recordings 24/7 during the day. I don't know why I run the network 24/7. There's the only reason because I don't find that we have many listeners. Here's the reason why, and there's a good reason why. Because you can get this program and any of our programs online. Rather than listening to the 24/7, you can go over to our on-demand. And at the on-demand part of our gabnet.net, that's the site you go to, over on the left-hand side of the page, you've got all the programs we did during the last 24 hours and perhaps for like almost the last couple of weeks. So people can go there and listen to the show they want. They don't have to sit there listening to a 24/7 feed that's kind of recycling all the stuff. And you can also get this video at gabnet.net. And let's see what else. You can get anything all these shows are available to you. You can go to iTunes, and all these shows are on iTunes. So there are ways that you can listen to these programs and not have to go through the problem of having to just listen through a show maybe you didn't want to hear, although I think all our shows are good, to get to a show you do want to hear because we're running a 24/7 feed. But you might check out the 24/7 feed as you're driving down the highway or whatever, because it just, the program just goes on like that. But then again, you can go to the internet and probably get the show and listen to it anyway. You know what I'm saying. So I don't know why I keep it going 24/7, but the only reason I do is there are a couple of people usually listening to it. And the other reason is because we do these live programs. And when we finally do the live programs, it would be a lot more difficult getting an audience, I think, if we had nothing but dead air all day. And then all of a sudden at 10 o'clock, here I am, or at 9:30, there's Damien. Sorry, Damien, by the way. Damien wasn't on tonight, but he was on for about a minute and a half, I think. And then I heard nothing but silence, and he had trouble with his computer last night. And then he had trouble with his computer tonight, so I ran last night's show that he did where he said he was having computer problems. But anyway, he had computer problems tonight, and I hope it's not anything too permanent or too expensive, Damien. But then again, I think he built the computer himself, so he's got to know how to fix it. So hopefully everything will be fine. He'll be on tomorrow night because, I love Damien's show, and I think it's a great lead into this one. What was that? I better take some coffee to just, By the way, I got to tell you, this YouTube has worked out marvelously. I mean, right now we have more people listening right at this moment at the beginning of the show than we usually have in the past way into the show or ever. So thank you. I really appreciate it. I notice more and more people are not listening to the live feed, though, which is also going out as we talk, because you can go over to gabnet.net and you can click on the TuneIn app, or you can click on the thing below it, and it'll let you just listen to the audio-only version of the show. But why listen to the audio-only version of the show if you can look at my mug, okay? Anyway, thank you so much. But I really think the YouTube thing has worked out just phenomenally, and the video looks gorgeous. It almost makes me look okay, something like that. So anyway, I don't have a guest tonight, and when I don't do that, I then just sit here and start talking, and I don't know if I have anything interesting to say tonight. I have a couple of little fun things. Let's see. The last couple of days, what did I do? Oh, we put together furniture. That was fun. It was. Here's what happened. Girlfriend, God bless her. I love her so much. She went out and bought us 2 side tables. They're about $300 a piece. They had been $600, and she kept waiting for the price to drop. And when she saw the price drop, she ordered it. And they came in 2 giant boxes. Now, I thought we were going to have to put the whole thing together because it said assembly required, okay? And she said, no, it's probably just the feet. And I said, no, it's assembly. It says assembly required, so that must mean it's like IKEA. You got to put the goddamn thing together, right? And I've gotten that kind of furniture before, and it seemed to me logical that if they were shipping this, FedEx, which it was, that they would be shipping it flat, okay? So all the pieces would be flat in a box. Well, the 2 boxes get here, and they're the size of or a little bit larger than the size of a side table for your bedroom. So I open up the boxes, and I pull them out, and sure enough, there are 4 little feet that you have to, screw onto the bottom of the thing. Bottom of the unit. Well, she also paid another $160 for somebody to come over and put it together, right? And the fact was that you didn't need if $160 to do this. I did all 8 of them, 8 of the little feet, in about, total 10, 15 minutes? Maybe not even that, because you just screwed them in. You could do them mostly by hand, and then you just tighten them up with a little lug wrench they give you, and it was very simple. So she called him and said, forget it, don't come over and do this. But $160. So I felt good because I saved her $160. The only thing was she made a bet with me that the box would come with the things completely made, and all you would have to do was add on the feet. And I said, she wanted to bet $10. I said, I'll make it $20. No way they're sending these things without sending them flat. So I owed her $20. I saved her $160. So in total, I probably gave her $170 or something like that. $180. Because my $20 plus the... Anyway, I didn't charge her anything for putting it together. I just can't see why anybody would charge that much money to do that. And I can't see why, once you know that all it takes is putting the feet on there, you would even pay somebody to do that. But she wanted to be on the safe side, and, she's very good that way. She likes to make sure she does all the coverage and things like that. Covers her ass. So that was the exciting thing that we did. And after it was all through, we were exhausted, and then I had to do a show, and she could go to sleep. Let's see, the other exciting thing in my life, I don't have exciting things in my life anymore. I used to have exciting things all the time. I was going somewhere, or there was something happening, or there was some important person I was going to meet, Now it's just, I'm a retiree who sits at home all day and piddles with this little network trying to make some noise. So I don't have the exciting life that I used to have. So little things become exciting. So what I did was I ordered from Amazon. I have an Echo, okay? And by the way, if you have an Echo, you know, you can listen to this program. You can listen to the 24/7 feed I was talking about earlier just by saying into it, Alexa, tune in Great American Broadcast. That's all you have to say. If you can't remember that, it's also at cabinet.net. I've actually got it up there so that you know what to tell Alexa. And then every time you go tune in, it will say, playing last program. So you don't even have to say Great American Broadcast. But anyway, so I've had that for a while, and I really love it. I mean, the thing is, when you think that, it was one of those things I bought that I felt I was never going to need, you know, that I was going to have buyer's remorse. But they had the price down. It was like down to $69, and I said, what the fuck? I'll buy the goddamn thing. So I buy it, and girlfriend's kind of circumspect about it. What's that piece of crap you bought? And I'm doing it in the guest room and playing with it, and I'm talking to her, and I call her in. I say, listen, I can ask it something, and it gives me an answer. And she goes, yeah, right, yeah. Well, now she can't live without the Echo either, okay? And she can't live without it because now she learned that we put it in the kitchen. And when I'm cooking, I go, I say Echo, and I'll tell you why in a moment, but I go, Echo, set timer for 5 minutes, or set it for 3 hours and 70 minutes, or whatever, 60 minutes. Anyway, I can use it when I'm cooking, but we also then, it's dinner time, and she says she wants to hear Neil Diamond. She says, play Neil Diamond, and it starts playing all the Neil Diamond music because I pay $4 a month for the music service. And she's really gotten to like it. I mean, you'll never get her to admit it, but and the best thing, she always used to write down on a little piece of paper all these little things we need. Get Trident gum, get cashews, we need cashews, get this, that, for when I went to Costco. And then she'd always say to me, don't forget to take the list. Well, now all you say is, Alexa, or in my case, Echo, add cashews to the shopping list. And immediately it adds cashews to the shopping list. And then I have I could show it to you here. I have let me pull this apart here. I was charging my phone. I go to the Alexa app, okay. Wait a minute, go to the Alexa app, and it has Amazon Alexa. There we are, you see. And then I go to lists, and then I go to shopping, okay? So, and look what's there, if you can see it. Can you see it? There we go. See? Cashews. Okay. It kind of made the light go dim, didn't it? But anyway, see, it puts it on the list. So she says all the things she wants, and I say all the things I need. And then when I go down there, I don't even have to ask her what I need. I go to my Alexa app, and I click on it, and I see all the things I got to buy. She loves that. So, you know, all of a sudden, this thing has become important in our lives. And I think it's a good little item. I think they really did something when they created this thing. So what I did is I said, well, I like that so much. I'm tired of this big clunky alarm clock radio that I've got. It has a iPod in it and all of that. I'm tired of that. So I got it for it was on sale for $114. The thing they call the Echo Spot. And what the Echo Spot is it's kind of like a little sphere with a flat bottom, so it'll sit on the table, and it's got a screen on it. And it does all the things that the Echo does, but also if I say, show me Reuters News, it shows me the video of Reuters News brief for the day. So, you know, and it wakes me up, and I look over at it, and it's got the clock going around, and occasionally it'll flash the temperature. It's terrific, and I've just learned how to use it. And I finally got the girlfriend onto the account so she can use it just like I do. And it really, I got to tell you, folks, it really is a wonderful thing. Okay, so that's that. And I'm thrilled by it. Okay, and of course she's now with this one. She's going, oh yeah, sure, it does that. And I said, watch this. I said, every morning you want to know what the temperature is going to be in the morning. All I have to say is, I went, Echo, what's the temperature going to be tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.? And she said, at 5 a.m., the temperature will be 28 degrees. I said, see? And she kind of went. She had to admit that wasn't bad, okay? That was pretty goddamn good. Anyway, if I want all the music, though, in the bedroom, I've got to pay another $4 a month because you only get that on one machine. You get it on all your machines across all your platforms for $8 a month. So anyway, that's you see what the little cheap, stupid things thrill me. Now, I would think that this intelligent discussion that I'm having here would have gotten us more listeners, but unfortunately, we've lost a couple. Anyway, I have a little number here that tells me how many people are listening. It's not fantastic, okay? Anyway, where was I? Oh, yeah. I want to talk to you about something. I guess I'm one of these kind of guys, you know, the glasses half empty guys. I never look at the really positive picture, okay? Now, I'm just going to give you approximate numbers. It has nothing to do with how much money I have or don't have. I'm just trying to give you an example of this. So I wrote my business manager a note today, and I said to him, at what point do we jump out the window? Now, what I was referring to was, of course, the massive dip the stock market took yet again today. Between the bad one last week and the bad one today, there has been a loss there of over 2,000 points. And then you add to that all the other lackluster days, and the stock market, I think, has lost over 3,000 points. That's a big dip. And if you go and look at your 401k and what it's worth today, I think you will find that it isn't worth shit. You know, it has gone down precipitously. Now, I got to tell you, in one of my accounts, okay, let me give you an example. In one of my accounts, I was counting the money and seeing it just go up in this one thing that I'm kind of invested in this. In this particular case, it was Vanguard, okay? And I saw my money just really jumping over the year. In just this one account, because I have other accounts too, I had gained $14,000 in a year. $14,000. Well, all of a sudden, this thing happens, and it's starting to go into the toilet. So I write my business manager, and I said, hey, at what point do we jump out the window? And he wrote me back and he said, if I had told you a year ago when your account was worth X number of dollars, that today, not last week when it was higher, but today, a year later, it would be worth this much, he said, you'd think that was absolutely wonderful. And I said, you know, you really make it. I wrote it back and said, you make a lot of sense, but I still hate Trump. You make a lot of sense. I mean, yes, I could say, boy, last week I had $200,000, let's say, and now I only have, $192,000. But last year at the same time, I had $170,000. These are not actual figures, folks, because I don't want you to know how poor I really am. The fact is that I'm better off right now than I was a year ago. I'm better off by a good deal of money. Okay? So I can't feel that bad about it. And if we sit here, it'll rise. It'll go up. It may not go up to where it was, but it will go up. But what bothers me, and by the way, people, if you have a 401k or you have invested and you think that you got to pull out because this thing's just going to hell, well, we're all going to go to hell if it goes down to nothing, okay? We're all going to be in trouble, so don't worry about that. But I think my best suggestion, and I would never wind up working on CNBC, okay? It took me years before I knew what just, a point was, that it's actually $1. And for me to realize that the Dow Jones averages are the averages of, what was it, 30 different companies? That's about it. Yeah, 30 companies. But you just don't, you just sit there, and I'm going to tell you, you don't sell. Just hold on to it, because you're better off now than if that money was sitting there a year ago. You're better off now than you were a year ago by a great deal. And yet, you're not worth as much as you were last week. I'm worth about, what I estimate, something like $4,000 less than I was last week. And and that's in one account. In another account, about the same percentage. So, don't do anything. Just let it sit there. And if it gets worse, it gets worse. But if it gets worse, there's also the upside that eventually it will get better. But people said to me, have asked me why I feel that the stock market took a dip. Part of it had to do with Trump getting rid of Janet Yellen. She was the head of the Fed. And she had a desire not to raise interest rates. But the new guy that replaced her, who I saw an interview with her, she said is a good guy, may raise the interest rates. That's one thing that has made things a little skittish. It's also that, and you would think with all the great numbers we have and things like that, that the people who invest would just think it was all just fine. And the fact is that it's not, okay? There is a skittishness out there. There is a fear. What happens when people sell off like this is fear. Fear drives the market more than anything else. And I think they do not feel safe with Donald Trump. I think they don't feel safe with the way the money is going. For instance, we give all these tax breaks. That's going to add $1 trillion to the national debt. This from a guy who said the national debt is too high. Now the national debt is going to go up by another $1 trillion. All right? That doesn't make for confidence. So what we saw was a lack of confidence. And this was a real blowout. Last week, the drop we took was the largest drop, one-day drop in the history of the New York Stock Exchange. Okay? Today's was the second biggest drop because it was just a little bit less than the one last week. We have, you remember that whole thing with the Silicon Valley when it completely fell apart and fell into the abyss? Wasn't as bad precipitously as this is. And what I love about these people out there is they try and put a silver lining on all of this, and they say, oh, well, this is just a correction. I got to tell you, 3,000 points over 2 weeks is not just a bloody correction, folks. It's a disaster, okay? And I didn't think there'd be another day like the other day. I didn't think it would go down another 1,000 points. In fact, today I tuned in to one of the networks, and they said, oh, we're down 400. And I went, oh, boy, here we go again. But I didn't think we were going to have another one of these over 1,000 days. But here we were. We had it. And let me see here. I have my little stock market thing here that I go to every now and then. And let me see here. We were down 1,000 32.89 points, or I like to say dollars. That's the way I am. NASDAQ was down 274.82. Let's see here. The stock exchange is now, it's at 23,860. And of course, our president was lauding the fact that we had gone over 26,000. Well, we're now almost below 23,000. So it's not good. And it isn't wonderful. And I don't know what we're gonna do, but just hang in there, you know. And if we're all gonna starve, we'll starve together, you know. And I'll see you at the soup line, and you know, I will work for food. Okay, I will work for food. I will do a radio show for food. Anyway, let me. It's time for us to go to our citizens panel. Let me see. First, I got to get it all in place here so that it looks really good, and turn it on. There we go. Now we're online, and then we just sit here and wait for people to call us. And you know, so how much money have you lost, everybody? You know, if you have a 401k, you've lost. Okay, but you gained a lot. If you were probably sitting there looking at your 401k and going, oh, man, that's good. Ooh, I'm making a fortune here. And now you're of course going to go, you know, I guess I'm not making a fortune here. Anyway, if you want to get a hold of us, we use a thing called Skype. If you want to find out how to use it, go over to gabnet.net. You won't miss the program because the video is playing over there too at gabnet.net. And over on the right-hand side tells you how to get Skype, how to call the show. It even has a button you can press that'll dial it up, okay? So you don't even have to do that. It's really simple. It's really easy. And that's how you do it. And our Skype ID, if you already have Skype and you know how to use it, is Gabnet Live, GABNET-LIVE. Now, if you are going to call for the first time, best thing to do is to go up and go to where it says call. And then when you go to where it says call, it says, go up to contacts. And then it says add contact. And then you say, add this contact, add Gabnet Live. And that will immediately send me a little note saying, hey, I want you to recognize me as a contact, and I will recognize you in a contact. I can get you on the air here without you doing that. It's just a little more trouble for me and not as cosmetically beautiful for the program. But anyway, we're waiting now, and as I do every night, I do my little fast tap dance here to try and come up with things to say while I'm waiting for the first caller to call the program. And I see who it's going to be. Yes, yes, and there he is, ladies and gentlemen. Whoops, wait a minute, that's the wrong button for me to push. There's the button for me to push. Scott Boddicker, ladies and gentlemen, from Plano, Texas. Not plain old Texas, but Plano.
Plano, Texas.
Yeah. How are you this evening, my friend?
I'm good. I'm just going to tell you, Alex, you don't lose money, you don't gain.
Well, I gained that money. I mean, if I wanted to a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, cash in my money, I would have $4,000 more than I have now.
But you didn't cash it in, so you didn't have it.
Right. Well, yeah, I guess. Well, that's about what my business manager was saying. Hey, if I told you a year ago when you had so much in there that you would have so much at this time this year, you would have gone whoop-de-doo. That's terrific, you know. So he said that's how you look at the stock market. You don't look at it as, hey, I had this wonderful gain, right? You know. So.
It's just legalized gambling. That's all it is. If you're sitting at a blackjack table and you're rolling that money,
yeah.
Oh, it's you get up, you go down.
Yeah. Yep.
You go up, down.
Yeah.
It's only good when you can. Yeah.
You're kind of like your voice is freezing on us a little bit.
Is it?
Yeah. Are you using Wi-Fi in your house?
Now he's frozen.
Yeah, but ever since we had the power,
See, boy.
every time my Wi-Fi comes on, the other.
I'll tell you, just try calling us.
I gotta go to the 5G.
Go to the 5G. That'll do it. That'll do it. Yeah, 5G will work every time. 5G is rich and wonderful. Hello, Phil.
Hey, how you doing?
How are you?
I had my, this new photography club.
Yeah.
You submit a photo, and this was my first time submitting a photo.
Yeah, to your phone.
I came in number one, and so this club is a member of something called an NC4. There's 14 of these clubs in California. So then it goes to their judging. Mm-hmm. Since I won in the club wide, mm-hmm. So it goes to the judging, and we'll see what happens. Then I'm up against 14 other clubs.
Yeah, and then what happens?
My picture gets a rating.
It gets a rating.
Yeah,
I see. And then is there any money? Now you look fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Testing. Can you hear me?
Oh, 5G is the best.
Yeah.
Okay.
How do you get your computer to come up to always go to the 5G instead of the regular G?
I don't know. Gotta look. Sometimes you gotta look.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you have? A PC or a Mac?
A Mac.
Okay. Well, you go up to the top where you have your Wi-Fi. That little fan with the radiated things, and you click on it, and it lowers down different things like, the 5G, the regular thing, whatever, and you just click on that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, when I turn it on, it always seems to default now back to the regular.
Well, you can always you just go up there and just turn it where you want it.
Just double check.
Double check where you want it.
The signal to your computer is stronger on the non-5G. Except that the 5G is stronger.
Well, okay. Between the photography talk and the and this, we just lost 5 people.
Well, you lost 5 people because your audience is aging.
No, they're aging listening to this discussion.
Well, anyway,
when they first started listening to this program, they were 14, and now they're 78. What? You won. Well, congratulations. What was it a picture of? It was some porn or whatever?
No, it was a musician named Marvin Seals. He was an organist. And
I told you it was porn, folks. I told you it was porn.
Yeah. He had played with the Grateful Dead and a number of other people. He wasn't a member of them, but had played. Well, anyway, I got this shot and from the pit at the UC Theater, and the thing was color, so there was a lot of color. And
oh boy, here we are. I'm getting bored. I'm getting drowsy now.
Okay, his glasses reflected.
See, what you could be doing now is that instead of telling us about the picture, you could show it to us.
I don't have it. They take it because I won, and I won't get it back until it goes through the N4C judging.
So, in other words, you don't have a second copy of this picture?
Well, I do. It was a really good picture, and Yoni Mayeri saw it, and I made one for her, and she said this is wall worthy, so they put it up on the wall at the UC Theater. They have a room just like at not Winterland.
All I'm saying is this has absolutely no weight if we can't see the picture.
Well, I've got one cropped a different way on my Facebook page.
You mean I have to go over to your fucking Facebook page?
Well, I'll show you on the phone. I won't be that tough on you.
By the way, I'm thinking. I was talking to a girlfriend tonight. We were both thinking about dropping Facebook. We just
so did that comedian. What's his name? The one that did Dumb and Dumber and Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey. He's quitting Facebook.
He's not only quitting it, he sold his stock. And the reason he says he's quitting it is because Facebook was compliant in allowing the Russians to.
Well, that's one of the things that bothers me, and the fact that they take no real responsibility for it, But I don't know. I just don't like the latest thing they've done. And I didn't know they did this because I really don't read my news feed. But if you have a news feed, it used to be everybody you knew or who was a friend of yours would wind up in the news feed if they posted something. And now they've limited it to 12 of the people who are your friends that they will put in the news feed. Oh, that's the photo.
Yeah, but if you look at his glasses, they reflect it's hard to see on my phone, but they reflect the organ and his hands.
Oh, very.
So it's actually, and anyway, yeah, the judge looked at it and said, "This is a great photo." I mean, it was the first photo they looked at too.
Yeah. Yeah. What were the others? Kitty cats?
Some.
Yeah. Anyway, no, but what was I saying? About Facebook.
Facebook.
I don't know. After my experience of doing Facebook Live and suddenly realizing that, in spite of the fact I'm not in love with Google necessarily, I find that YouTube is technically so much better. I just don't know why and they keep getting more, like cutting you down to 12 people and things like that. They're starting to do more and more stuff like that they're taking the soul out of Facebook, which was kind of a Dodge City for people communicating with each other.
You notice that if you read something on Facebook, you get bombarded with ads, and you could start reading an article, and 5 seconds into the article, they make you watch an ad before you can finish reading the article.
I don't find that. That's not the problem with Facebook. That's the problem.
What's happening to me on my mobile feed. And then
wait a minute. Hold on a second. Is this while you're on Facebook, or when you go use Facebook and you click on a link and you go somewhere else?
I'm on Facebook. I click on a link that's there.
Yeah.
And
then you're going somewhere else. That's not Facebook who's doing that.
Okay. And well, it's a Facebook ad.
What do you mean it's a Facebook ad?
Well, it's a Facebook. It's an article that's on Facebook.
Wait a minute. I don't know of articles on Facebook. I know people put articles on Facebook, and then if you double click on that, it will probably take you, like if you double click on my YouTube picture, for instance, on my page, and you double click it, it will take you to a YouTube page.
These ads are onerous, and they're
but that has nothing to do with Facebook.
Well, they let these things on. I mean, it wasn't that way a year ago. A year ago, you wanted to read something, you read it.
No. That is the nature of the internet now. It's just that it gets to the point where like I used to want to go over and read an article, see an article, and relate it to the people I was talking to. But I found if I left my audio up, somehow there would be a video or something before it started.
That's true.
And YouTube, I can choose to have them monetize my videos or not monetize my videos. I do get that choice. But all I'm saying is
you need more followers before you get any money.
On YouTube. I know that. You don't have to tell me that. And I'm never going to have those kind of numbers, so I'm not even thinking about it. What I'm saying is monetizing it by the fact that they run commercials before a video. Now, the only time they will do that is if you have some copyrighted material in it, so that goes to pay off the people whose copyright you're using. Okay? But otherwise, I mean, nobody got a commercial before they came on here, I don't think.
No.
So.
No, not yours.
Yeah. So, but I just question whether the wonderfulness that was Facebook really exists any longer. It's just, and then the Facebook Live, it put a bad taste in my mouth.
It wasn't inundated with as many ads as it is now. The ads used to be off to the side when you looked at it on a desktop. Now
I don't have any. I'm telling you now. In when I go over to my Facebook page,
you look at it on your phone.
Over to the right hand side, of my Facebook page, there is nothing.
Really?
Yes, there
Maybe
is
they
nothing.
know that you're a cheap screw and you're not going to buy anything anyway, so they don't waste the ad on you.
That's correct. You're absolutely right. You got it. You got it. You got it. You got it.
Right.
You know.
Hey, they got you figured out. Well, anyway, Jim Carrey,
Yeah.
he's got them figured out. And if he sold his Facebook stock before this last 1,000-point correction, he may have saved himself some money.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know what the stock is and whether it went down today.
Yeah. Let me see here. Let me see. We're going. Ray Renati is calling. Hello, Ray. You there? You there, Ray?
I'm here.
There he is, ladies and gentlemen. How are
you doing?
How much money did you lose today?
I haven't looked.
You're probably afraid to, right?
Yeah, I figure what the hell. I got enough to be depressed about.
Yeah.
I don't need to add another thing.
But my business manager put it best. He said, if a year ago I told you today you would have that much money, you would have gone, wow, that's terrific.
Yeah, I heard
So,
you say that.
you know,
I was in the car. I heard you say that.
You know,
it's true.
It is a way of looking at it. And I guess he's trying to make me feel better. You know.
Hey, Ray.
Yeah.
I went to that cervical chiropractor.
Oh, no. Oh, here we go. This is going to be dull, too. Jeez almighty. You just drive this show into any ditch that's nearby.
Yeah. Well,
Why don't you give him a
ditch.
call and tell him you went to the chiropractor?
I don't communicate that way with him. But, hey, you don't even need a ditch. I'll use a pothole.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So what happened at the cervical chiropractor?
Oh, yeah. Tell us.
He did a very slight adjustment. They put you on a table, and within like 2 seconds on each side, you're adjusted. Then he sits you in a chair for 15 minutes. And says,
How much does that cost you?
that one was $70. The initial one was
really?
$330.
Yeah.
And I was told that that's not bad, but he's going to see me twice a week for 3 weeks, and then
Does your health insurance cover it?
No.
See?
Oh, mine does. Mine does.
Does
I
it
have
really?
Kaiser.
Well,
I have Actors Equity. It's awesome.
You know what I'm getting starting March 1st. We are going to be using the SAG-AFTRA pension.
That's really good too.
Medical plan. They're all kind of like the union ones, but I hear that SAG-AFTRA is really, really good, and I hear that the one you've got, Actors Guild, is it?
Yeah, Actors
Equity is very good.
Yeah.
Is very good too. Yeah.
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 How much? And the price is not bad. It's something like $500 for my wife and I. $538 a quarter.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
was paying $150 a quarter just for myself, and
yeah.
And I'm on Cobra right now because I didn't work enough weeks in a year, so now I'm paying a lot. But
but what I'm saying is, what this is this is going to be my supplemental for my Medicare supplemental.
Yeah, right.
And man,
'cause you got all that.
I couldn't get anything that cheap outside of the union, and the union thing is. I looked at it; it's terrific.
The coverage is like old-fashioned insurance that we used to have like 30, 40 years ago.
Well, you know what
they cover everything,
yeah.
70 to 100% of everything.
Yeah, well, in this particular case, I can't remember what the percentages are, but I know that, like for instance, with her insurance with Oxford, I think we had $1,000 deductible. So I never ever, because they were only paying 20%, Medicare was paying the rest. I never got to that 1,000. Okay,
Right.
And here at AFTRA, it's $250 for her and $250 for me.
How are you getting the AFTRA? Because you had all those years working at the radio stations, and it's part of like your pension.
You know something? This thing just fell into my lap. One day I get this letter from AFTRA saying you're eligible for this senior plan.
Yeah,
and
that's right, because you worked for so long under AFTRA, so it's part of your pension plan.
I didn't work that long. I mean, my pension from AFTRA is under $1,000 a month.
I remember you telling me that one of the reasons you joined was that you wanted the insurance, and this is back in 1980.
No.
And it didn't give you the insurance.
No, that wasn't it at all. There was some other reason. I can't remember what it was.
They had different rules back then, Phil. Like you didn't even have to have work weeks and stuff. If you were in the union, you got the insurance, but then they changed it.
I was, in the room with you when you said, "Hey, this is good."
That wasn't it. There was some other reason why. I was a signatory to the union as well. But I made myself literally a union shop, and I kept paying. What was it? There was something that they screwed me over on.
Right, it was the insurance.
It wasn't the insurance. No, I was I was insured on my own. I can't remember what it was exactly because it's so long ago now. But that I had, I was working at a non-union station, but I kept my union thing going, and because because my company hired me. In other words, I was the station paid money to my company. My company paid me a salary. So I made our company a union shop because and then what we wanted was pension and welfare. I think was what we wanted to be put into, and at one moment at a time they said, well, you're not working at a union station, and I said that's not the point. I'm working for my company, which is a signatory to SAG-AFTRA, and so they screwed us over. I think. We kept paying money into pension and welfare for me, and somehow that money just disappeared, and I never got that pension and welfare. The pension and welfare I get now, I got for all the work I did here in New York years earlier. Does any of that make sense, folks? Well, we got a couple of more viewers.
It totally makes sense to me because I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But I can't believe they screwed you over. You got to.
No,
that was really
it wasn't
smart
like
to make
they.
yourself a company, a union company, and then how could they?
Yeah.
How could they not honor that? I don't get it.
Well, nobody ever sent us a check. Nobody ever said, here's the money back. So
these
anyway.
unions sometimes they rip you off though.
But anyway, on the other side of life here. They really have come through, and I've got this now, and it's an amount that we could pay even if my wife wasn't working. I mean, it's $528 for 3 months for both of us, and to get all the stuff we get the pharmaceutical. We don't have to get a Part D in Medicare. We get dental, $2,500 a year in dental, which most of these the stuff I had at Sirius was only $1,500. So I mean, it's really terrific. So that's going to be our new, because how her company was getting screwed is they were paying $21,000 a year for our medical policy, which was only being used as a supplemental, which I think is criminal of Oxford. I mean, it was it was horrible of them to do that.
I think that the entertainers unions are all actually part of the Teamsters under. You don't see it, but it's all part of Teamsters, and the Teamsters get incredible benefits. That's why we get that.
Well, we're not members of the Teamsters.
No, well, actually, I think
no.
I got when I first joined the union, I got a
bunch
bunch
of Teamsters
paperwork.
You know what it could be is like what I'm getting is Blue Cross Blue Shield. Is the and Delta Dental and so on. Yeah, it could be that all these unions batch together and make one deal for this massive amount of people, so they can get better rates. That could be.
My daughter worked before she worked for Variety. Worked for the Directors Guild in Southern California, and basically the Directors Guild is a union, and and provides benefits, and that's a lot of what they did.
Yeah, yeah, but it was just a. It was wonderful when I got it, and I went, who needs this? And then I started reading it, and I went, they got to be kidding. So I called them up. I said, I'm really qualified? And they go, oh, yeah, you're qualified. So is your wife. And now here's what you got to do. And it was a thing because it was the sign-up period at the first of the year, and, of course, I missed that. And they said, as long as you have a life-changing situation, you can join the plan anytime. And a life-changing, altering situation would be that you have dropped your old insurance, and we have to have a letter from your insurance company saying your insurance has been dropped, and then you can start the beginning of any month you want to.
Yeah, that's part of the Obamacare, is if you have a life-changing experience, you can join outside of the enrollment period.
And a life-changing experience is that you lost your, or you dropped your old insurance.
Right.
You know, Alex, you took my neck conversation right into the gutter again.
Well, I have more people than we had during your neck conversation.
How is your neck, by the way, Phil?
Well, I'm glad you asked.
Alice is pissed.
Boy, I can hardly wait till you get a catheter. Okay, I can hardly wait.
March 14th.
March 14th, you get the catheter.
Yeah.
I didn't know you had to have a catheter after that operation.
10 days, 10 to 14 days.
10 to 14
Are you going to be on here?
Yeah, if I can.
Probably the first couple of days you'll be woozy from all those wonderful drugs and whatever, but then
I may have to stand. So I'll just put the camera on a tripod, and because I won't be able to sit for a while. It's what they tell me.
You won't be able to sit for a while. This is don't they? You would think that by now that he's having, ladies and gentlemen, in case you're wondering what kind of operation he's having his a prostate operated on, and not on. He's having it removed.
Moved.
And
what a way to lose weight, huh?
What a way to lose weight. Yeah.
3 ounces or so.
Yeah, it's about the size of a walnut. Anyway,
it's a grapefruit.
But you would just think they by now would have had some kind of way of doing this that wasn't that traumatic to your existence, where you have to walk around peeing into a bag.
They do. It's the thing that David Hajek had. But everybody is telling me that the chance of the cancer reoccurring is far greater than if you just remove it.
Well, if you remove it, where's the cancer going to go? It's left you. It's gone. It's
in the garbage.
Yeah, that's the general plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, that's better then. It's better to walk
now,
around.
you see, that's what happens. That's why I can't get anybody listening to this goddamn fucking show. And I don't get those thousands and thousand numbers because I've got a bunch of old farts talking about prostate operations.
Well, like I said, your viewers die off. It's not that they leave the show; they just die off
as they're watching. As they're watching, they're dying off.
Yeah.
Well,
hey, one other
wait a minute. Jeff's been sitting there very quietly. Oh yeah. Well, I'm doing Dickinson's tonight.
I'm doing Stella Artois.
I got your Big Bang. And I tell you, it's a little short of a Big Bang.
No, it's good though. It's very tasty coffee.
Espresso is good. French roast is good. This is a medium.
Major Dickinson's, by the way, is a dark roast. You said it was a light, a mild. No, it's a dark roast.
Well, no. I said Big Bang.
But Big Bang is it's just got a nice taste to it.
It says vibrant blast of tropical fruit.
Yeah, well, what is it? I don't taste it. Do you taste the tropical fruit in there?
No. It's not very strong.
No, it's not strong. But you know what it is? I usually do it during the day because it's just a nice light coffee. Yeah. It's a good morning. It's a good morning coffee. That's what it is.
Yeah. I need something.
Well, I just bought 60 K-cups of that shit, so I better like it.
Yeah.
Can you drink coffee at night like that and sleep?
No.
I
can't. I can't drink after like 4
But it's amazing how well you can sleep on coffee once you put a Xanax in you.
Coffee to me is like drinking water. It
really?
doesn't affect me.
I don't know. I never was a coffee drinker when I was younger, and all of a sudden one day I just kind of like, what the hell, Well, yes, Jeff.
Phil, do you drink coffee every day?
Yeah, I get up at about 4:30 a.m. and I have 2 cups of coffee, and I watch the news, and then I go to work, and I'll have a cup, maybe 2. And I come home, I'll have a cup.
Yeah. Well, I used to drink coffee like that, crazy, every day. I don't know. I had it in the morning, in the afternoon, all the time. And it never bothered me.
Right.
And then I said, well, I got to see what it would be like if I didn't have any coffee.
I couldn't wake up in the morning.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I couldn't believe how much drug effect that coffee can have you when you take plenty of it.
I look forward to getting up and having a really strong cup of coffee.
And now I'm
tolerance.
getting coffee. And I can wake up, but I miss the coffee. That's all.
Yeah. I would think it's the same thing as smoking, you know. It's a habit.
Yeah. Well, I never smoked. You know when I started drinking coffee? About the time I first went to California. I didn't ever like coffee. I never drank it and whatever. And then all of a sudden they had a coffee machine at KMEL, and I just thought I thought I'd have some coffee. And
that was bad coffee.
Yeah, but that's what I grew up on, was that coffee. That's the thing that hooked me on the coffee. And I've never been one to do 5 or 6 cups of coffee a day. I got to stay awake. I'm good for 1 cup a day usually, now maybe 2. But and I don't even drink all of this. This will be about half gone by the time the show is over. So it's not like I'm guzzling the stuff down. But I do like the taste of coffee, you know?
Yeah. Me too. I love it.
Yeah.
I heard that medium roast coffees actually usually have more caffeine than dark roast coffees.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
See? A lot of people think the opposite, but
maybe because I like dark roast coffees is why I could drink as many cups a day, because it doesn't have as much caffeine.
Well, but what you're not saying is how much it costs. How much. How much impact it has on you, because you think it's a dark roast, and that's going to have more bang. But could be that Big Bang has more bang in it, for all you know.
No, doesn't have the bang.
Yeah, well, I like
the name, not the bang.
I like it. It's sweet coffee. Anyway, let's try and get these numbers going a little higher here.
Okay, strip.
Huh?
Let's talk about Depends or something.
Yeah.
Well, or
wow, you know something?
What other old people stuff?
Nobody listens to our audio anymore. Most people listen to our video. It's
there you go.
How we get the majority of our people listening. I mean, I still get the same amount of listeners I would get if I just did audio only, but now it's starting to drift off into the video thing. So anyway,
so you rather talk about Richard Pryor sleeping with Marlon Brando, or the
what?
Yes, didn't you hear about this? And by the way, this isn't just a rumor.
Oh my God!
Pryor's wife, who was married to him twice, he was married to him once, divorced him.
Janet
later,
Lee? Is that the same one from King Kong?
No,
that's.
Then they got married again, and she was with him till the end of his life. And Quincy Jones, in an interview, said that Marlon Brando would fuck anything that moved. He would fuck a radiator, I think is how he put it. I think he used that term. And he said he slept with people and then he mentions Richard Pryor. He also mentioned one other person as well. I'm trying to remember who. But Richard Pryor. And so people went, this has got to be ridiculous. They went to Pryor's wife and said, you know what Quincy Jones said? Said that Richard slept with Marlon Brando. She said, yeah, he did.
I don't know why I find that so funny.
He said those were the days, she said, when people did drugs like crazy and they were out for a good time, and he and Marlon got it on once.
James Baldwin, Marvin Gaye, Richard Pryor.
Yeah, Marvin Gaye was the one I couldn't believe. Okay.
Yeah. Gaye.
Yeah, it's like who was it? David Bowie and
Mick Jagger.
Mick Jagger. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
There was only one bed in the room.
Yeah, but so that was the big reveal today that Richard Pryor did it with Marlon Brando. So.
Damn.
Was that the fat Marlon Brando or the thin Marlon Brando?
Let's see here. That would have to be probably the skinnier. And Marlon Brando, believe it or not, after
good-looking guy in
after the first couple of movies, though, he started gaining weight. And if you look at him in a lot of the pictures he did after A Streetcar Named Desire, you pretty well would have to say that, you know, that he was putting on the pounds here and there. But it wasn't until later that we really noticed it. You know.
Yeah. He looked great in Streetcar.
Well,
man,
in Streetcar Named Desire, I can't think of any one visage that is more a gay icon than Stanley Kowalski. Ripped T-shirt, Stella, you know, I mean, absolutely a gay icon. So people go, oh, Marlon Brando was gay? No, he wasn't gay. He would just fuck anything. You know, made pee-pee feel good, you know. And so that's what he'd do. And in the case of Richard Pryor, I mean, you know, who was getting the bad part of that deal? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean,
but when
Richard Pryor was on drugs a lot, so maybe he was didn't know what he was doing.
They said Marvin Gaye, I'm going, I would never have thought Marvin Gaye because, you know, you remember the songs he sang? They were all really sexual, right?
Yeah.
You wouldn't
No wonder his father shot him.
Sexual healing.
Yeah, sexual healing.
So was it Marvin Gaye and Brando, or
Marvin Gaye and Brando,
and
Pryor and James Baldwin? James? Yeah, Baldwin. Yeah.
James Baldwin too.
Yeah. Not one of the Baldwin brothers, folks.
No.
No, the guy who wrote the books. Right?
Black writer. Yeah.
So, he liked black men.
Now I wish Quincy would have. Oh, and then he did another reveal about Michael Jackson. He said that Michael stole his music like crazy from other people, and then he gave examples of things that Michael had literally lifted from somebody else's work, and said he was the biggest song thief of all time.
So Michael Jackson was the Robin Williams of songs.
Pretty much.
Poor Robin.
Pretty much. Yeah. Well, you know, he's stealing in heaven now.
Yeah.
You know. So, but so that was the big news today. I'm glad we gave you some news you didn't hear, Ray.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. I mean, I can't even it's just blowing my mind. I don't know why.
And it's not like one of those rumors that somebody said like Quincy Jones, and then all of a sudden other people went, "Oh no, I knew Richard. He would have never done something." No, his wife says, "Yeah, of course he did it." Yeah.
Yeah, like everybody here is saying it's true.
In fact, she said, I think something to the effect that he liked to brag about it. You know, that he came home and bragged about it. Hey, guess who I had sex with? Marlon Brando. So, Scott's getting the chills now.
The only person that's denying it is Richard Pryor's daughter. She says it didn't happen.
Well,
how would she know?
How would she know? Exactly.
Yeah. She just doesn't want to believe it.
Well, you know, I mean, I think it's entirely believable. And, you know, the way the wife discussed it was, that was a time when people just did this sort of thing. It was just, you know.
Yeah. It's Quaaludes and, you know.
I don't know. There was a time, I got to tell you, there was a time in my life that when I was in, I think, my 30s, I thought, maybe I ought to try sleeping with a guy and see what it's like. You know, then...
Wasn't me.
No, I'll tell you what happened. People know this story, and Albert used to give me a bad time about it because I actually have told the story on the air. Do you know what I'm getting into? Scott knows what I'm going for here. You know what I'm going for, Scott? You know the story, Scott.
Heard it too many times. I don't want to hear it again.
No, I was at a.
Be a good supporting contestant, panelist.
I was maybe I won't tell it now, and then he will have walked out of the room for nothing. No, I was in an orgy, and I was there, and I was making out with this woman, and all of a sudden somebody starts blowing me, And I look down, and it's a guy. And I figured, well, you know, I always said to myself, I wanted some kind of experience this way, so maybe I should just try and get into it. And then all of a sudden, the side of his face brushed against my belly or something, and there was stubble, and I said, nah, stubble, It just, you know, if you could, like, keep it just to the mouth and I could imagine it was a woman, that's one thing, but now I'm getting stubble involved here. And I said, thank you very much. It's very nice.
No different than when a woman shaves, her pussy, and a week later you've got some growth in, and it's got stubble.
Yeah, or an Italian woman shaves her mustache off.
Yeah.
But not her armpits.
No, but it's a thing that so it was at that point I suddenly realized that my desire to open my eyes to newer vistas was not to be. So I like so Albert always gave me a bad time about this. He says, "So you're gay, huh?" And I went, "No, the purpose of this story is to tell you that I found out that I wasn't. That I know I'm not gay because I had somebody do something to me and I didn't enjoy it, and therefore I know I'm not gay, but do you know you're not gay?"
All I know is you're anti-stubble. I didn't,
I'm anti-stubble.
Exactly. I mean, if the stubble wasn't there.
Yeah. You'd be, enjoying yourself.
A different life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something like that.
The stubble was there.
So.
Well, that didn't drive away too many people.
Okay.
But we had more people earlier until you got into your.
Of course, it's definitely me. I'm the one that took the show and drove it off into the ditch.
Into the ditch.
Well, you tried.
But I know how to get more back.
How's that?
Well, my neck now feels really good.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Well, you can describe your photo again.
Yeah.
I was listening in the car. I even turned it off.
Today my wife got me. Are you ready for this, folks? It got me a foot doctor because I've had these foot problems, but they started going away. They started going away. My feet aren't as numb as they were. So I don't know. Now I have no reason to go to them yet.
My dad has that. He has numb feet.
Yeah. It's a nerve thing. It's
he had to quit playing golf.
But let's get away from that, okay?
Let's talk about youthful.
Let's
stuff.
get to some youthful stuff. Hey, you fucked any hot chicks lately, Ray?
I'm married.
See, we can't even get that. That would be what younger radio would do.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, man.
And of course, if I said I had, then I would have no end of grief from my wife. So it's.
I used to get dates just from answering your phone at the station. It'd be amazing. Women would call up and can I talk to Alex? Well, no, he's not available. Well, what about you?
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Famous.
So in other words, what you're saying is you took my cast-offs.
Yes.
You took what was left over.
Yeah, I took what couldn't make it crawl over to the other studio.
Yeah. And where did you go? Take any of them home?
Yes.
And did you have sex with them?
Yes.
And you never told me.
Well, no, you met some of them.
Oh, did I?
Yeah. You remember one time we went to this comedy club, you, me, and Rogalski and Susan.
Yeah.
And I had a
Susan was my wife at the time.
And so we're at this comedy club, and somebody sees me. A friend of my girlfriend, ex-wife, sees me there with this other girl, and so she calls her. My ex-wife, who was a girlfriend at the time, storms in, all pissed off. And I said, "Oh, here, let me introduce you to Joe Rogalski's date." And they all played.
You son of a fucking low-life bitch.
Yeah.
Wow. That was,
Yeah.
I don't remember
And then,
that, but that's about as sleazy and as skeezy as you can get.
And when I dated that girl that worked for Journey as a bookkeeper, we all went out to breakfast together, you know, in Mill Valley. So you don't remember, she was actually pretty cute. They were both cute. They were both pretty good looking.
Well,
but
I had very good looking fans.
Oh yeah, one of them, not those two. One of them calls up, and Bobby Slayton and who else was there? I think Jeremy Kramer. So I get this one on the phone, and she says she wants to meet us. So the three of us jump in my car after the show, and we try to meet her. And she, there was no cell phones back then. So I had to call her from a payphone. She says, "No, I'm over here." And, we're running around. We never found her. But, we tried.
Yeah. Well,
old days.
I don't know if Scott's ever heard this story. I think he probably has if he's listened to me any amount of time. But when I was working in New York City, I was working at WMCA, and I would get off in the morning. I was off at 6 in the morning. And one morning, somebody was answering the phones there, said, "You have a call," and I answer the phone, and it's this very sexy-sounding woman who then begins to tell me everything that she wanted to do with me sexually, and it was amazing. You're blowing the story, Scott.
It's almost a play mystic
word.
It was amazing. It was amazing, and so. She calls a couple of mornings in a row, and then one morning I'm there with a friend of mine, and he says, "Who's that?" I said, "Listen to this." And I kind of put the phone there, and she says, "Wow." He says, "Why didn't you go over to where she lives?" She was living at the McAlpin Hotel. He says, "Why don't you go over there? She wants you to come over there." And I said, "I don't know, And she says, "I dare you." Not only that, I double dog dare you. Now look, when you're double dog dared, you are required by the man code to do, even if it's like a soap pod, you have to do it, okay? So I said, okay. And I said to her, what room, blah, 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 blah. She gave me another minute. He says, okay, good. Let me know how it goes. So I go over to the hotel. I get up to like the 27th floor or something like that. Go to the hotel room door, knock on it. She opens the door, and I'm not exaggerating this. Have you ever been in an apartment where you wondered how they got the piano in there?
They took the window out.
Yeah, well, I wondered how she ever got in there, because when she opened the door, she was wider than the door frame.
She had to go in sideways.
Yeah. And she said to me, "You don't have to come in if you don't want to." Now, me being a decent human being, and for all you people out there who think that maybe I would be, that I must have harassed some women or taken advantage of women or whatever, to show you that I am a nice guy and as proof of it, I said, "Oh no, I'll come in." And I went in. And before I know it, I've got 300 pounds of woman all over me. And I figure, well, I could tell her I don't want to, but that would hurt her feelings. And all her life being this fat, she's had her feelings hurt. So I quickly had sex with some crease. I don't know what it was exactly.
It was moist?
It came like a motherfucker right then and there. Okay. By the way, we do say that this is a R-rated show, folks. So don't. And I then thanked her very much and got the hell out of there. And I went home. And I get home. I'm not there for about 5 minutes when the phone rings. It's my friend. And he says, "How'd it go?" I said, "Amazing." He said, "What was she like?" I said, usually these kind of things happen and they're losers, right? I said, "This woman, I don't know why what she sees in me, she's just the hottest thing I've ever had in the sack. And the stuff she did to me, you wouldn't believe." And he said, "Well, I'm happy you had a nice time. Goodbye." And he hangs up. So I get into bed and I'm sleeping. About 3 hours later, the phone rings, and I pick it up, and it's him. And the first words out of his mouth are, "You fucking son of a bitch." And I said, "Oh, really?" He said, "Yeah, really." I said, "What happened?" He said, "I went up there, she opened the door, and all there was this really fat woman who says to me, 'You don't have to come in if you don't want to.'" And I said to him, "So what did you do?" He said, "What could I do? I didn't want to hurt her feelings." I imagine that this woman was getting more sex than any other woman in New York City simply by using that line, "You don't have to come in if you don't want to." But to show you what a trooper my friend was, he was curious, and he called her and said, "Do you want to go out on a date?" And she said, "Sure." So he took his car and he picked her up at the McAlpin Hotel, and he drove her out to his place in Queens, just so he could get her into his apartment, so he could get her on a scale and see how much she actually weighed. And the only way he described it to me was the scale went to 300 and then to 25. So we went all the way around. So that's my story. We didn't gain any listeners with that story. We didn't lose any. Okay? So that's my little story. Well, what else is happening in the news? Let's see. We've got a person who works for Trump.
Yeah. His aide, or
who beats his wife. Yeah. So
beats two wives. And he's hooked up with Hope, that hottie that's been working for Trump, that 26-year-old hottie that's taking his communications thing. Hope, I forgot her last name.
Yeah.
Have you? Well, he's been dating her.
Hicks.
And I get Hope Hicks, yeah. So one of the ex-wives.
What?
Yeah.
Connection sucks.
Your connection sucks. It's good and it's bad.
Yeah.
He's frozen
Hope
right
Hicks, supposedly was getting warned by one of the ex-wives that he hits, and they're saying that Kelly knew this a few months ago, but I guess they did an investigation.
Well, now Kelly is getting all kinds of rations of shit for this, isn't he? Because he knew and he didn't do anything about it.
I think they investigated.
Yeah. And
now he's had to resign. So, I guess they did something about it. At least they didn't, go to form a judgment just on an accusation.
Right.
Which is good.
What is that? What is that noise?
Sounds like Skype.
Sounds like somebody's ringing. Oh, Tim is calling here. Add to group. Wait a minute. Okay, there we go. Yeah. Hello, Tim. And we lost Scott again. I don't know.
Good evening.
Yes, Tim. Yes. What new horrible thing do you have to tell us about, Tim?
Well, I think Trump is in deep depression because Omarosa on the celebrity
Big Brother
is getting higher ratings than the love triangle at the White House. But you know what the latest thing is? I believe Hope dated Corey Lewandowski too.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Gets around, huh?
Yeah, Hope supposedly was dating Corey Lewandowski too. Who knows how to throw a punch, obviously, because he did it at one of the rallies. But there's obviously rumors out there that he's behind these pictures coming out.
Oh, really?
So there's a triangle going on. And how can you be a communication director for the White House and never communicate? She never talks. She never talks.
Yeah.
She sends out Raj Shah, whatever his name was. That poor guy that did the press conference today was just devastated.
Why was he out there?
Because John Kelly is he's a yellow-bellied scum, and he won't even come out and admit that he knew all along. And in fact, one of the other stories, I think it was Associated Press or Washington Post, said that Rob Porter offered to resign a few months ago, and John Kelly wanted to keep him on because they can't get smart people to work at the White House. So when you have such a bad reputation, you can't get smart, organized, intelligent people. You got to get people that have giant flaws as well.
Yeah, but let me. Here's the point though. Somebody was mentioning today that the problem with Kelly is that he was brought in to kind of corral Trump. In other words, to get him on message, to stop him doing these reckless tweets and so on, and that as time has gone on, he's become Trump's bitch. You know that he's
Kelly's on the same wavelength as Trump. There's not that much difference. They're both pretty racist, and they're both kind of.
Yeah, but I don't think they wake up in the morning and say, "How can we be racist this morning?"
Well, they do. That's what with their immigration policy. They just want to, or they don't bad talk white people. They just don't do it. But
well, how can you bad talk white people? We're wonderful.
You know who's skipping out on the whole deal, though? Who ran for president?
I shouldn't try to tell a joke when Tim's talking. He won't laugh. What?
Trump ran for president with Mike Pence. They're a team. Trump had no experience in the government. Pence was an executive in the government for how many years? Pence should be the guiding light in that White House and shouldn't put up with any of this crap that's gone on. He's in absentia. He's not over at Congress helping any of the bills. He's not doing anything to clean up all this.
Yeah, but
mess
wait a minute. You see, you keep changing topics because you get onto your agenda. But to answer that for you, I don't hold that against Pence, okay? And I don't hold him. I mean, I don't like Pence, and I don't like his politics, and I don't like the politics of all of these guys. Wait a minute, let me finish. But nevertheless, Pence is a good vice president for him because he is in his corner. He will stand up for him. He knows what the job is, and he signed up for it, and he's doing it. And so I don't hold that against Pence. I don't hold it against Pence for, rooting for the home team. I don't like Pence. But
he should avoid these scandals, though. He should keep them from having these type of scandals.
Well, he's always off to the side. He never gets enmeshed in any of this shit.
Most vice presidents.
I even heard that when they got emails from the transition team, his emails had disappeared. One of the House committees.
Yeah.
He's keeping a clean slate.
Most vice presidents, their job is to go to funerals and if there's a tie in the Senate to cast a vote, and that was about it. And it had been that way until I think Biden was given a little bit more leeway, and of course
Al Gore was given quite a bit of leeway.
Well, Biden
did a lot.
Cheney did a lot.
Cheney did everything. And the thing with
wait a minute, hold on a second.
He had no experience.
But Biden, well, we know that with Biden, he did not. When he took the job, I mean, when he said, "Okay, I'll run with you for vice president," said, "I will not be vice president unless I'm in the room for every major decision, and that I get to say what I feel about it." In other words, he was a hands-on vice president, and he was a hands-on vice president because that was one of his demands if he was going to run.
Yeah.
And they had a good partnership.
Very good partnership. Did anybody see Anybody see the interview with Biden today that Andrea Mitchell did?
Yes, a very good interview.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he doesn't show you. He's like you. He doesn't show his age.
Well, you know something? He's very classy. Yes, Jeff.
I think we were looking at him the other day, and I think he's lost weight on purpose, which indicates he wants to run for president again.
Well, all I know is he looks great, but if he decides to run, he's going to be awfully old. He'd be the oldest guy ever to run for president.
78, I think.
Yeah.
Isn't that the same age that Trump will be if he runs in 2020?
No, he's 70. He was 70 when he was elected.
So that's 74.
He's 71 now.
Yeah, he'll be 74.
Yeah.
So he'll be 74. But, you know, that's awfully old, you know? And I think in this day and age, I hate to say this, I mean, but I can say it. I'm an old guy, okay? I can say it. And I think even Jeff, who's another old guy, so we're the two oldest guys in the room, would agree with me on this, that I don't know that it isn't a younger man's job. You know? Huh?
There's a lot of stress.
Wait a minute, Jeff, what?
I agree with you 100% that it's a young man's job.
Yeah.
Pelosi's showing her age, definitely.
Yeah.
Well,
she's 77.
She's, how old is she?
77, I think.
Yeah, well, then I guess she's showing her age, you know.
Yeah.
She's allowed to show.
Yeah, but you know, she did that marathon yesterday of what was it, 9 hours, semi-full.
Right.
She babbled the whole time, but you know, she was able to stand.
Yeah, I wonder how she went.
You got to remember that Biden is married to a doctor too.
Yeah.
So he's pretty healthy for his age.
Yeah, well, I mean, but you know, this whole thing about healthy for his age, what we are saying is he has age, you know, and
right.
I got to tell you, I mean, I don't think I'm in as bad shape as a lot of people my age. But in fact, how old am I now? I forgot. Oh God, I'm 78, right? Huh?
I don't know.
But can you see the Democratic primaries with 16 nominees on the stage?
Yeah. I guess that shows I am old when I can't remember my age. Or maybe I just don't want to remember it.
The internet says you're 78.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm very happy that I'm 72 and that you're older than I am.
Yeah, I know. You can look at me like you can put on your hood and your scythe and just follow me around, you know.
I'm 63 and I'm falling apart faster than you are.
But you know, at 78, I just, you know, I think a younger person could do the show better than me. I just think that's. You don't have to agree, Scott. You can say, "Oh no, Alex, it doesn't matter. You're ageless, Alex." What kind of friend are you, Scott?
Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, and then we got people, you know, listening to us out there. These young kids are going, "I can't listen to this." One guy's got a prostate problem. Another guy's got a heart problem. The other guy looks like Colonel Sanders, and the only good guy in the bunch is an actor, so he has to look good.
Are you in trouble with Facebook, Alex?
What do you mean? Am I in trouble with Facebook? Why? Why would I be in trouble with Facebook?
Right after you quit Facebook, Jim Carrey quits, so they're kind of blaming Jim Carrey's leaving on you. I think.
Oh, really? Mm.
But you saw what Jim Carrey quit Facebook.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier.
I just got home. So
that doesn't make any sense to me though, because that you'd have to quit everything. Everything that you own is exploiting somebody somewhere.
Well, it's a publicity stunt, but it's a one way to get a point. But it is a way to get a point across.
Well, I think it's a good point to get across. I think, you know, when Facebook started, there was something wonderful about Facebook because it was kind of like the Wild West. You know, And what happened with Facebook is it was being defined by the very people that were using it. And now that it's become big money and all of that, the whole stakes of the game have changed. And now there are too many rules and there's, you know, it's not fun anymore.
There's too much vitriol, and it really changed once the Trump election, even latter days of Bush. What had happened was it used to be, oh, here's my grandkids, we're doing this, we're doing that, we're going here. And then it became a political platform for people to vent their anger and their frustrations. And I think that really added to people pulling away from Facebook.
My first step in pulling away was when I took this show from Facebook and put it on YouTube. And I got to tell you something. I've been doing this now for what? Is this 3 weeks or something. How many weeks have we been doing this on YouTube?
I don't know.
2-3 weeks.
This signal has never glitched once. Do you remember how many times Facebook would go down or freeze up or I'd have to restart things? Never goes down. And the picture is beautiful, you know.
Was this platform always available?
Yes. But the reason I started using Facebook Live was everybody started using Facebook Live. When I first used Facebook Live, we used to get gajillions of people because it was a novelty. And then as the novelty wore off, then we got less than a gajillion. I get more now here at any given moment than I got on Facebook Live. But at the end of the night, the numbers were higher, but I think there was something wrong with that. And in any event, what I found is this is easier for people to use. All you have to do is bookmark the page. And it's just sitting there waiting for me to click a button here and to activate. And I've even got it now so there's a clock on it that tells you how many minutes down till the next show.
That's fine if you're with East Coast time. But when I look at the clock, it shows a couple of hours and minutes off from where it actually is. And I think either Jason or Renee said it was the same issue.
Subtract 3.
Is that how it works?
No, you don't have to subtract anything because what it does is it says so many hours till the next show. There's no time on it.
Okay.
Don't you look at it? The actual viewer on the page now says what the show is, the next one, and then it says will be live in so many hours. It doesn't say live at 10 o'clock tomorrow. I put the 10 o'clock up there, actually. And I put Eastern time.
Yeah, my thing says video starts automatically when it's live. Let me push on the button and see if anything happens.
Well, it's going to be on now.
Live. Yeah, so
it's going to be on now. But when I go off, I then change it again, click on it, and it puts a thing in there that there's a countdown. So when people go to this, all you have to do is bookmark that page and just go to it when it's showtime or even before showtime. Let it just sit there. And the minute I click the button here, you start getting the program. It's so much better than when I did Facebook Live. Here's what I'd have to do. I'd have to go to Facebook Live. I would then have to go to a page where I put in the name of the show and the date of the show and all of that. And then I would have to cut and paste a key, which I would then have to go over to my encoder here and go into the settings and then go into the stream component and put in this key. So that key number would be known. If at any time I stopped the show or the show got fucked up, I'd have to go get another key. With this thing, I don't have to do any of that. It has one key. That key's there all the time. All I do is just hit start streaming, and that's it. It's that simple.
Are you still paying for a live stream?
What?
Are you still paying for live stream?
I still pay for live streaming. I don't know why. It's just that they have such a. I'm still trying to see if I can utilize a program they have for switching programs because it's very good. But somehow,
one that you have isn't as good as the.
Well, no, but I can't get it to put. I can't get it to put this screen on. Okay, I mean I can do it, but I'd have to do it from another machine, and it's just too complicated. I love it when somebody walks with a computer. It kind of has that weird look to it, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway. So the whole system is so much simpler for me. And what is it? Forbin writes, because he's the guy that finally convinced me that I should go over to YouTube and try to use it. So I was wondering, he says, wait a minute, hold on a second. I have to widen the page, otherwise I can't read it. I was wondering why anyone would go live on Facebook. Never understood your choice to be there. To me, Facebook is a place relatives and old ladies look for grandkids' pictures. Well, that's why this program belongs on Facebook.
wrote me. He said he wrote you that something about downloading the podcast, the audio, to iTunes. But I noticed that I get it downloaded to iTunes on a thing called Podcasts, and I saw it there today. But he had written you, and he said in case you didn't answer him, he wanted me to ask you.
What's the question again?
Does the audio podcast still download to iTunes?
Yes.
Yeah, that's I saw it today.
There are two things I do every night when I'm through here. I take my show and all the other shows, and I put them on the on iTunes. Basically, is what I do, and that's pretty simple.
It's on all the platforms that have podcasts.
This is what he wrote.
Yeah, and then I also put the video on each of the platforms like Facebook and YouTube. I make another copy of it that says recorded, because what it does is it takes away all the beginning crap, all the promos and everything like that. And then I also put it on live stream, and I also put it on Vimeo.
This is what he wrote. He says, when I went to download last night's show from iTunes, I noticed it was in video format. I was just wondering if that is how you're going to forward.
No. There are two different Ramble presentations on iTunes. One is called the Ramble Video, and the other is called the Ramble. And the Ramble is audio only, and Ramble Video version
obviously video.
Yeah, is obviously video. Yeah.
Okay. Well, he'll be listening to the show tomorrow.
And the difference is they both have the same. They both have the same icon. They both have the same picture, but one says Ramble TV, and the other one doesn't.
Okay.
On this graphic.
So now he'll have his answer.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, there are two versions of the Ramble, and most people, believe it or not, are liking to watch this thing rather than hear it. If they can see it right now, I find that we're getting less people listening to the stream than we are watching the video. It could be that we'll get so low that eventually I won't even put the stream out there.
My stream.
I'll tell you, Alex, YouTube is so convenient. I mean, that's how I watch it. I just open it and I subscribe to you, and it's the first thing right there on my screen.
My prostate.
It says live now.
Yeah. And when I go off, it doesn't do anything. And then a couple of minutes later, while it's been off for a little while, I can't do it till it's been off for about 10 minutes. I then plug in the next day, and then the clock will start going again. And I change the title on there to the day that it's on. All I'm saying is it's more convenient. It looks better. It's rock solid. You can't ask for more than that. And Facebook was just so full of glitches and so full of problems that it wasn't even getting to be worth it. Scott, are you awake?
He's bored.
I'm getting bored with all this talk.
Oh, okay. Well, let's talk about something else.
How about when you used to use Periscope? Nah.
No.
How about MySpace?
MySpace, yeah. I'm waiting for that MySpace thing to come back because I really like that.
Nothing like sparkly cartoon kittens.
Scott, do you use Facebook at all?
No.
Okay. Do you have an account? No. Okay. I was just wondering. And all those others don't seem to get the traction. Like, I'm on Tumblr. But so what? Who goes over to Tumblr?
Phil's on Grindr.
Phil's on Grindr? Yeah.
If I went to Tumblr, my neck would need another adjustment.
But what yeah. Did any of you guys, well, of course, Scott wouldn't, Jeff wouldn't, Ray wouldn't, but Phil, did you ever use an online dating service?
Yes. When I first got divorced, I used JDate and Match.
Yeah.
And there was also a scuba diving one, which was interesting.
What was that site called? Going Down on You?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
I don't exactly remember, but it was to meet people of the opposite sex that might want to go scuba
That
diving.
might want to have sex with a guy in a rubber suit. Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
really.
Yeah.
I did okay with both of those services, but in the beginning, some people were really strange. I had a couple of women say, "Oh, I don't date anyone that doesn't have hair," as if hair was it was very superficial. And oh yeah, Scott,
you have hair. I see hair.
You got hair, but you got a face to protect it. Hey,
is Scott playing a drinking game?
Yes. So I got
takes a drink every time Phil says something.
Yeah, I got hair. Probably in response to some of those negative things that people had said on Facebook. Then after I got hair, the people I met, it didn't matter.
Yeah. Well, I met a girlfriend on JDate.
Yeah.
But they pay us money not to mention that.
I met more Gentiles on JDate than I did Jewish women.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I met a couple of, oddly enough, I met a couple of nice women online, none of which I was really interested in. And I met girlfriend, and I didn't even think we would have anything really going, except we enjoyed going to movies together. And then after a while, it just one thing led to another, and she was sleeping at my place more than she was sleeping at hers. That's pretty much how it happened, So I have to admit that, I used a dating service. But don't most people use dating services today? I mean,
yeah.
How else you meet people?
Well, you know where you meet most people is at work.
And that's
and today you don't want to do that.
No, you get sued, you get arrested, who knows what you get.
You don't want to date anybody at work. So what's the safest way to date? It's probably an online dating service.
Yeah. And meeting people at a bar, what are you doing? You're meeting other people that, are drunk and don't even know, can't make a reasonable decision that they want to go out with you.
Well, yeah. Well, I think that, the whole thing about dating online is going to become, I would invest in one of those businesses, because I think what's going on now, to even take a chance of going out with somebody from work, is I think
there's other problems. There's other problems with the online ones. There are people that get mugged. There are people that get raped. There are people that get robbed.
It's not as bad as having your whole career ruined by some nutcase who says that you treated her badly.
Well, if she knows that you're a celebrity, she could do that too. Look, Rose McGowan. I think it's Rose McGowan. Yeah. Her manager committed suicide. 50 years old, and she wasn't bad looking either. I guess was depressed over this Weinstein thing, and just recently committed suicide.
Wait a minute. Why would she commit suicide?
Rose McGowan? Oh, wait a minute.
No, Rose McGowan is one of the major women who has complained about Weinstein, and I think it was because she did a Weinstein film. I think she only did one that I know of. And what she did was that double feature thing that Tarantino did with Robert Rodriguez, called
Kill Bill?
Huh? No, remember there were two movies in the movie.
Yeah, I remember.
It was like a double feature.
It was in a car or something.
The one with Tarantino was in a car, and the other one was a space thing. That was the one. I think Rose McGowan was in both of them actually. Yeah. And I think that's the one time she worked for Weinstein. And that could have been when whatever Weinstein did, he did. But the one that I don't get was, what's her name? I'm trying to remember the latest one that's given him a bad time. And,
the Kill Bill?
From Kill Bill. Yeah, what's her name?
Thurman.
Uma Thurman gave him a bad time. But he did it to her, and he supposedly raped her or whatever he did, years before Kill Bill, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So he rapes her. If somebody raped me, I would never go anywhere within 20 miles of this guy again, right? She goes back and makes 2 movies for Weinstein. So I want to know what she's so fucking mad about. You know, that she could turn around and do that. I mean, I don't care how much you want a career. And I don't care how powerful a man is in Hollywood. Somebody rapes me, I'm not working for that asshole ever again.
No,
then she dated Tarantino, and Tarantino tried to kill her.
No, number one, I don't think
driving and all that
Tarantino, I don't think dated her. Who Tarantino did date.
She said that he got Weinstein to back off because they were kind of dating at one time.
Well, no, you're thinking of Sorvino, Mira Sorvino.
Oh, I thought it was Uma Thurman's story.
No, now Uma Thurman almost got killed doing a car stunt, but Tarantino claims that he would have never let her do that. He should have been more insistent. But I think
they told his stunt executive producer not to show up at work that day.
No, but he also did the stunt before she did it to make sure it was safe.
They're a different direction now.
Huh?
Yeah. He drove the other direction on the highway, not the same direction.
Well, anyway, the point is that where Tarantino probably could be called to account is with Mira Sorvino, who he was dating for a long time. That was his girlfriend, right? And Weinstein does his thing with her. And he doesn't complain because Weinstein's his bread and butter. And that's what he should be ashamed about. Although you could say that Weinstein, again, was abusing his power by making it so that, you know, the Tarantino wasn't going to do anything about it. I can't remember if he knew about it because she told him, or when she told him he didn't believe it. But anybody that was within the orbit of Weinstein knew this guy's reputation. Hell, I bet Ray Renati, who's an actor, probably heard about it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Bill Cosby and all of them.
Yeah.
Spacey surprised me. Although I knew people who knew Kevin Spacey, and he had a drinking problem, and he would get really wild. Like if he was here in the city, I knew he was gay. He'd hang out at the Castro, and he'd just kind of lose all control. I think it's alcohol is his problem.
Is more his problem than being.
And then he loses it. He loses all control when he has any booze.
Well, supposedly this Anthony Rapp, the story he told was that he was a kid at the time. He was like 17 or something. He was working in a Broadway show, and he wound up at this party that
he was 14.
Maybe that.
Yeah, he was 14.
That Spacey was having. And he found it boring, so he went into the bedroom, watched television, and Spacey came in and was drunk out of his fucking mind. He even says he was drunk out of his mind and jumps on top of the kid. And the kid just kind of pushes him off, gets up, and walks out. Well, now, how many years later, that's being observed as being child rape? You know, and it was all it was is exactly what you said about him gets justified in what you had said about him being a notorious drunk. The guy probably gets drunk, doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, and has no inhibitions about what he does, and probably didn't know this kid was 14. He probably just thought it was another human body.
I think he's in rehab right now in Arizona.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure
he probably didn't remember it either afterwards.
Yeah.
No, I don't think he did.
In fact, he said he didn't remember it. You know, so, I mean,
They did find the tape of Tarantino kind of supporting Polanski. That's surfaced
with who was that disc jockey that shot Howard Stern? I guess he was on Stern's show in 2003. And
it was okay. It was consensual. She was dating him.
Oh, this is the 13-year-old.
The 13-year-old, yeah.
Listen, she's an old lady now.
She says no, but she says it wasn't.
No, but she said that she's asked every judge that's come along, please forgive him and let him come back. She doesn't feel that she was hurt that irrevocably that he should have to suffer any longer by it. And secondly, the only reason Polanski ran from the country is because they welched on their deal with him. And he was afraid if he went and spent the so-called couple of weeks in jail or whatever, that he would never get out of there. and that's why he got out of the country.
They'd find a reason to keep him.
Well, they started welching on the deal, and that's why he fled the country, and it was right of him to do that because, I had an old friend Abby Hoffman who ran out of the country when they busted him for selling coke supposedly, and when I finally was with him in hiding about 5 or 6 years later, I said, "Why did you run?" And he said, "Because I knew I'd be in jail for the rest of my life. If I waited and time passed, the passion wouldn't be there to find me as guilty." And he was right, because when he came back, they gave him a year in prison, and that was a year in jail, and that was it.
Didn't Eldridge Cleaver do the same thing when he went to Cuba?
Yes, exactly. He didn't go to Cuba. He went to Africa.
Oh, I thought
he went to Africa. I know, because I talked to him there on the phone with an interview. He and then Tim Leary went and joined Eldridge Cleaver. It was in, oh boy, where's no, it was Liberia or someplace like that. Yeah. So
was he making those jeans with the zipper up the back? And
that was later on. He came back and thought he was going to become Calvin Klein. But speaking of photographs, you talk about photographs, right?
Yeah.
I had a photograph I took of this radical couple that I know. And there was then an interview being done with Eldridge Cleaver in, I'm trying to remember, Algeria, maybe? That's where he was? Yeah, I think it was Algeria. And they were doing an interview with him in hiding, or not in hiding, everybody knew where he was. And in back of him was the picture I took.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I mean, sometimes if you go away for a period of time and then come back, you won't get the same kind of sentence you would have gotten when the case was kind of passionate at the time. And Abby came back and he got a year, and I don't know if he even spent a year of that in jail. And then everything was forgiven.
How did Abby Hoffman die? Did he get hit by a car?
He committed suicide. Jerry Rubin got hit by a car.
Oh, okay, yeah.
On Wilshire Boulevard in L.A.
Oh.
Yeah. Abby committed suicide. I didn't know that Abby was bipolar. Yeah. And he had to take drugs for it. And he just got sick and tired of taking the drugs because he felt it sapped him of his abilities and of his creativity. And so he stopped taking it, and next thing you know, he put a gun to his head and killed himself. And that was one of the deaths that really got to me, because I loved Abby dearly. Abby was one of the funniest, most intelligent, creative people I've ever known.
Well, that's the way you should describe me.
Oh, when you go, no telling what I'm going to say about you. But you're probably going to have to talk at my funeral, not me at yours. I hope. Okay.
I doubt it.
Yeah. And the only reason Jeff hangs around me is because I'm older than he is, and he feels young.
Young at heart.
And if I died tomorrow, Scott, would you come out for the funeral? No.
Sure. Actually, I want to come to your estate sale. And you got laying around all your closets.
Yeah, well, yeah.
You must have how many GoPros you got laying around in there?
I only got 2 GoPros. I've only got 2 GoPros. Here, I've got this one. You can have. I'll will this to you when I die. This one.
That's the Hero 4.
That's the Hero 4. Yeah.
I got one here.
Yeah. I have one and I've never used it. The battery always dies so quickly.
Well, if you get the newer ones, the batteries last a long time. They last really good.
I noticed that too. I bought a back for the Hero 4 so I could actually see what I was doing.
Oh, when you put a back on the Hero 4 like I did here. Wait a minute. Hold on. See? It eats up battery power like you wouldn't believe.
I noticed that.
Yeah.
I have a special connection, and it fits on my underwater housing for my underwater camera.
Yeah.
So I can take stills and movies at the same time.
Yeah.
We're losing people again.
Yeah, we're losing people again.
That's coming, Renati. You're a photographer.
Good time to lose them because you know what's really weird. What's really weird about YouTube is by the end of the show we have more viewers than we have at any other time during the show. Whereas the other way,
tomorrow another Phil-free Friday. I
Good.
got my underwater photography.
Good, thank you. Then maybe we can take this show out of the ditch and put it back on the road where it deserves to be.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you very much, Phil Meyer, ladies and gentlemen, and Jeff Stein, Connecticut, ladies and gentlemen, Scott Bodiger, Plano, Texas, and Ray Renati, the San Francisco Bay Area somewhere. Anyway, everybody, wave goodbye so they can. Yeah, that's it. There they go. Anyway, that's it. Let me just do a few things here. I have to do, I have to do it all, folks. So you gotta give me a little. There we go. Okay, we're ready to go. We're ready to close the whole thing off. Hey, listen. Next is the intersection with Jack and Amy at 1 o'clock this morning. Connections will be here at Eastern Time, and tomorrow night, hopefully, if his computer is working, Damien will be here just before our program at 9:30 Eastern Time, and then I'm on again tomorrow night at 10, same time, same station in life. And in the meantime, as always, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay?